Hey, what's up everybody? So now that I am back to recording some drum covers, I recently posted a video called The Most Important Drum Lesson Ever. And this video is kind of a video response or a continuation of that video. Now if you haven't seen that video, please check it out right here. It's very important, and basically I'm talking about how before you ever try and do stick tricks or focus on crazy chops or anything like that, you need to focus on your groove. You need to focus on being a solid player. And a lot of YouTube drummers like myself or Cobus or Luke Holland, our videos don't really show that. We don't really talk about that enough. And truth is, being a solid player, being able to play in time with a metronome, being able to be the backbone to a band and not overplay, not play too much, not show off all the time, is way more important and will get you so many more gigs than having crazy chops or being able to throw your stick. I mean, throwing your stick is worthless. It's just a kind of showmanship, kind of get the audience involved and entertaining thing, but it's not going to help you get a gig. It's not going to help you be a better drummer. And so check out that video. Now for today, what I wanted to talk about is, like I said, based off that video, building a groove and building solidity and just being a solid drummer, and a way to practice that. And the way that I would kind of recommend practicing to become a better player and to become a better drummer is to sit down with your kit and forget about your kit. Not the entire kit. You want to remember your hi-hat, your snare drum, and your kick drum. Now, I did an interview with Chad Zaliga of Breaking Benjamin and Black Label Society recently, and he had a perfect kind of expression. He said, he called the hi-hat, kick, and snare your meat and potatoes. And he said no matter what kind of stuff you put on top of your meat and potatoes, if the meat and potatoes aren't good, it's not going to be good. And that is exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly, basically, everything you need to think about is you need to get those meat and potatoes spot on, right in the pocket, right in the groove, as solid as possible before you bring in anything that is unnecessary. And so what I'm talking about today is sitting down behind your kit and playing either to a track or playing to a metronome and forgetting about this. Don't hit toms, don't hit crashes, don't hit rides, don't hit chinas, don't hit splashes, don't play fills besides on your hi-hat, snare, and kick. Just sit down and just sit down and groove on your drums. And so I'm going to do a little bit of playing to a metronome, and then I'm going to do a little bit of playing to a track, and I'm just going to kind of show you, I mean, it's just me playing along to a track and to a metronome, but what you need to do is just sit down and work on these three things. Make sure that snare hit right on 2 and 4 every single time. Even if you have to stop, take out the hi-hat and the kick drum, just hit 2 and 4. Get that metronome going. Once you get that going, add in the kick. And you really want to get those solid before you even add in the hats. And once you get that going, you really want to just nail that down and get those things perfectly in time, perfectly with the met, and just make it solid. I mean, that's what it's all about as a drummer. That's what it's all about as a session drummer or playing behind a good band. You want to get that down first. If you don't have your essentials down, if you can't play to a met, you can't play a solid groove, then you're not going to be able to get a gig out there. And then once you can play all that, by all means add in some stick flips, add in some, focus more on the technicality of your playing before you focus on stick flips, but you want to be able to play cool fills, you want to be able to have some chop sessions and do some fun things like that too, but that's not what's going to get you the gig. This is going to get you the gig, the meat and potatoes. So let's have a little fun here and have have some fun on this kit. I've got the Pearl ePro Live electronic drum set here, which is what I do all of my practicing on. Do a lot of my teaching and lessons and stuff. And I've got the Metal 101 kit set up here. So gonna have a little fun with that. And like I said, hi-hat, snare, kick, a little bit to the metronome, and then a little bit to a track. So let's have some fun. Alright, so that was just a little bit of fun with a Met. There were some times in there where I wasn't perfectly in time, and those are some things that I can focus on. I dragged a little bit at one point, I sped up a little bit at one point. Right there towards the end, I got into that snare roll, and my kick came out of the pocket a little bit. And so those are the kinds of things that you can find when you sit down with a metronome, and you can fix those. You want to make sure that you can do that. Now that was a fast tempo. Please don't start out that fast. It's just the tempo of the track that I'm about to play to, and so that's why I played to that tempo. But start out at 80 BPM or start out at 70 BPM and just work your way up to faster tempos and more interesting grooves. And yeah, so here's a little bit of just having some fun to a track. This is a track you can get at performancedrumming.com. It's one of my personal favorites. It's an alternative rock pop kind of song. A little bit like Bruno Mars's grooves. He's got some really good grooves and stuff. So let's have a fun time with that one. Here we go. Oh, I did a stick flip there, sorry. Yeah, so sit down, have some fun with just your hats, just your snare, just your kick. You're meat and your potatoes. And if you want to hear Chad Zaliga talk about that, pretty sure I put it in the interview there, and you can click on that here. Dude is an amazing drummer. It was really an incredible experience to get to talk to him. Sorry, just a side note there. So that's a good way to just sit down, work on your groove, work on the metronome, work on being solid, and make yourself an incredibly groovy, incredibly solid pocket drummer. And that is really, really important for your usefulness in the drumming world. I don't think we talk about it enough. I know that a lot of YouTube drummers are adding in fills and stuff and doing stuff like that, and that's because that's what's entertaining to a wide audience of people on YouTube. But when it comes down to it, this is what's important, and this is what you need to focus on first. I'm going to take these off so I can actually hear myself think. And yeah, that's the lesson for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out the other drum lesson videos. And yeah, have a good one.